Hey everyone, I wanted to talk about something that I think is really important. It's for parents and kids alone. And it's for parents who wanted their children, raised their children, loved their children, and just really have had children that have gone astray or that they're considered prodigal children. There's a story in the Bible where there was a wealthy man who had two sons, and um, one went away and squandered his inheritance. He went and partied and whatever the case is. And the other son stayed home and, worked for his father and earned his inheritance and all that fun stuff. So, anyways, they were treated equally regarding monetary value, but, you have one that stayed home and took care of dad and one that went away. I want to talk about when you've had children that have gone astray, whether it's a son or a daughter, whatever the case may be. And I want to say that to the children that are out there that have disconnected from their parents, who have had parents who have loved them and raised them and cared for them and did their very best. And this is for the parents who have loved their children, who miss them, who cry, this and that, who sometimes have really bad days because you don't know what to do. It's Mother's Day and you don't get, or nobody calls you mom or whatever the case. Just want to say that it's in the story of the prodigal son. The prodigal son comes back because he's broke, and his father welcomes him with open arms. And the other son says, "Why did you do that?" And I think he says, "Because he's my son too." I don't know I forgot the story, but it's something like that. But he welcomes his son with open arms. And I don't think what children realize who have disconnected from their parents, or not in my case, because my children aren't, have not used drugs, or, they haven't gotten into the whole alcohol, that type of substance abuse, is that I don't think they realize, and maybe they do, and this is why they disconnect. They know if they come back to their parents and they say, "I'm sorry," the parent welcome them with open arms and say, "I love you," and come back home, and "I missed you," and this and that. And I just want to talk about the fact that I did that because my oldest daughter left when she was 19, and she was gone, and I cried, and I made Facebook groups, Steffi Come Home, and made a T-shirt with her face on it, Steffi Come Home, and I invested a lot of time in trying to get her back, win her back, you know. And then she came home, and she said she was sorry, and I said, "Why did you leave?" She goes, "Well, you yelled once a week or once a month or whatever the case is." And then she said, "I promise I'll never leave again." And, "Oh, this is great," and whatever. And I said, I mentioned before that I got her a car, and she took off, and again, she ended up walking out of my life again. Oh, goodness. And so I just want to say that the story of the prodigal son is so pertinent because that father welcomed his prodigal son back with open arms. And the other child, the one who stayed home and had worked for his father and earned his inheritance, was so angry and frustrated. And I just want to say that I think it's really important that we as parents, instead of saying, "Hey, come on back, I miss you, I love you," and blah, 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 I think we really have to. And I've gone through therapy, just for, things that happen in the military and more things, from A through Z. Because I think it's really important, if you are going to open your doors to a child that has chosen to disconnect, you have to have gone to therapy to deal with the loss. And you also have to set new boundaries and new standards for a new way, because things aren't going back to the way they were before. I'm not going to be a doormat. This has nothing to do with money. If you want to come back, that's fine, but I'm no longer going to allow you and I to have the same relationship we had before, which resulted in, whatever the case, the disconnect. So I just want to talk about how very important it is to walk slowly, tread lightly, and really pay attention to the conversations that you have. Pay attention to the motives behind the reason as to why they want to come back. And really, this is a story, or this is something I learned or read about in a book, that in our lives, we have to be cautious about who we allow in our lives, and for whatever odd reason. So some people, let's do the house analogy and the street analogy. So when you live in a neighborhood, sometimes you get to know your neighbors, and some walk down the street, ride their bikes in the street, and you wave, and other people will walk on the sidewalk in front of your gate, and you'll say hi, and you'll stop and chat, and then as you get to know them and they've earned your trust, you allow them in your front yard, and you look at the flowers, and then as they earn your trust more, you invite them on your front porch for some tea, and then last but not least, the people you trust the most and you develop relationships with, you allow them in your house. And I just want to say, when it comes to our children or anyone who we've had a disconnect from, and it has not been healthy during the disconnect, I want you to tread lightly and take steps. If your child wants to come back, say, that's fine. We're going to have to meet at a restaurant. We'll have to meet outside. We'll have to meet at a park. Let's go have a conversation at someone else's house. My house is my safe place, and I'm not comfortable right now at this moment with you coming here. And if you do meet at a restaurant, you each pay your own way. Say we're going Dutch. You're going to pay for yours. I'll pay for mine. You're going to meet for the first time again as if you're meeting someone new. If you're going on a first date. If, you're the kind of person that pays for the date, make sure you pay your own way and they pay their own way. And, you're not going to lay out your whatever. You're not going to lay it all on the table. So you can have a conversation. You can find out the why. And most important, you can discern and figure out if you want to meet again. First, you can meet for coffee, or you can meet for a walk, and then the next time maybe you can meet for lunch, or walk around at the mall, or whatever the case is. But I want you to be very cautious. The meeting should never include money. If they need money, they can work for it or get it elsewhere. But just know that even if you have financial means, it does not mean that you have to share that with your children, especially if there's been a disconnect, because their motive might only be for financial reasons, or because maybe they've not made good choices in their life, and maybe they're homeless, maybe they're living on the street, maybe they've bounced from house to house, or maybe they're in a desolate situation that needs more than your care. So even if you have an extra room, just know that after there's been a disconnect, there's a whole new ball game, and you're dealing with a whole new situation and a whole new set of standards, rules, personalities, behaviors, etc. Because if they've been out in the world for a while and they've learned a thing or two, they're also going to learn a thing or two about how to, I'm not going to say manipulate, but they're going to learn different skills as to how to get what they want to survive. So I'm not saying don't allow your children in your home, but just know after a disconnect, it's very important you go to therapy, talk to a friend, join a group, learn new skills, and most important, learn how to set boundaries. If you were raised by anyone who was an alcoholic, Al-Anon is an excellent place to start. You have to start loving yourself, and just know that even if your child comes back, in my case, my child came back, I bought her a car, and then she took off again. So it doesn't mean you're not going to experience the heartache again. So protect your heart, protect your wallet, protect your home, and never allow anyone in your home that does not have your best interest at heart. So that's all I want to talk about today. I hope this helps someone. I make videos to try to help other people who will go through these situations. I want you to take my insight and my wisdom and apply it to your life, and know that you're not alone. Know that there's many parents out there who have had prodigal children, and my situations can help other people, but most of all, my experience helps me to establish a healthier, more peaceful, and positive and uplifting life. So I hope this helps, and I hope that my words come to you with kindness and love and understanding. And most important, you're not alone in this world. So watch the video again, take notes. I always take notes if I'm watching a speaker who I find is inspirational, and I hope you find my words encouraging as well. So have a great day, and we'll talk with you soon. Bye.